Hey there, folks. I hope you all made it safely to school today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be in your classroom today because I have a dental thing. So I made this video ahead of time during the snow day in order for you all to get the same kind of footing and experience with this new unit that Period 1 got. The new unit is called the MoDI unit, Modern Day Issues Unit. Whenever I say MoDI, it just refers to that because it's a shorter, easier way to say it. And we're going to focus on your research and advocacy skills. You all are the future leaders, creators, and builders of the world. And you need to know how to not only research and understand what's going on, but advocate for change that you want to promote. And so hopefully this unit will give you some of the tools you need. This is something we did previously in the unit where we kind of talked about issues that people are silent about. And unfortunately, because I'm not here, I won't be able to do it with you. However, you can kind of see what Period 1 has here. It could be something personal like bad refs and wrestling. Maybe there's something you care about and it's related to gaming, athletics, activities, arts, and you want change somehow to be created. Do research on that, advocate for it. You have a voice, you can use it. Maybe you're passionate about climate change, about the school start time, border laws, domestic violence. Anything you can think of that ignites your voice, you can do research on. So as I go through this PowerPoint, I really want you to think in the back of your mind of a topic you care deeply about. The topic I'll be choosing for this year during my research, because I like to do this project with you guys, it's going to be pancreatic cancer. And the reason why is because my grandmother passed away from it when I was young. And I hope that in the near future, we see a cure of some kind. So think about topics that really ignite your fire, things you want to learn about, things you want to talk about. And that would be a great topic for your MoDI project. And this connects tonight because we saw Ellie in one of the worst moments in history and the worst moments of his life kind of go through these experiences. And instead of being defined by it in a negative manner, he chose to use that information and speak out against injustices around the world. He spoke out against apartheid. He spoke out against genocide. And he said, we cannot let this happen again. And it was the same thing with Melba. She experienced one of the most difficult educations in the United States. And she didn't let that define her and stop doing what she loved. Instead, she promoted the idea of equality amongst different peoples. And she really wanted to make sure that everyone got an equal access to education. So just like those two, you all have the power to do really cool things and make really cool change that you care about. So what are some examples of speaking up you can think of? This is where I would normally call on some folks, maybe do say like talk with your partner and then share out. Can't do that right now, so sorry. But I do have some examples that you might have in your head right now. Obviously, there's Melba. And when she was in high school, she entered a segregated school with only 8 other peers. And that was really difficult when she was dealing with white students and white teachers who were hurling insults at her. Here we see her after her experience meeting with the New York City Mayor Robert Wagner and the other Little Rock Nine to tell him about these are the injustices we're facing. As Black students, we need more help, we need more resources. In modern day times, we see Greta Thunberg. She's most well known for kind of advocating for climate change and policies related to climate change. When she started the school strike for climate, she was, I think, one of the only students doing it. And then it grew and grew and grew. She kept using her voice, and now it's like millions of people are participating. So even if you agree or disagree with her, you can't deny the fact that she's using her voice and she has some power behind it, all from that little teeny tiny start of the lone single strike. Right here is Malala Yousafzai, and she's most well known for surviving a Taliban attack while she was riding the bus to school. And essentially, the Taliban attacked her, shot her at point blank in the face because she advocated for girls going to school. So what she does now, after that event, after that experience, she's decided, I want to make sure other girls don't face violence like I did. I want to make sure that girls have equal access to education. And that's what she does. She tours the world. She earned a Nobel Peace Prize for the work that she does. And this all started at the tender age of 14 for her. And then right here, we have the Parkland shooting survivors. These are the students from Marjory Stoneman Douglas who lost 18 friends, 18 teachers, 18 people in their lives due to the senseless act of violence from a lone gunman. And they all have differing opinions on gun control laws. Some of them want a straight outright ban. Some of them just want smarter reform. Again, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree, but they're getting traction with their movements because they're using their voice. And it's not just national and international figures either. There are people here at Davies doing really cool things too. Right here we have Kendra. She's a sophomore here at Davies. And she started a project where she fundraised money using a cutest pet contest. Using that money, she bought materials to buy blankets. And then with the blanket materials, she worked with the Davies special education students and some Fargo Force players to make knot blankets. And once the knot blankets were finished, she sent them to a cause she thought was worthy. Animal shelters here in the Fargo Moorhead area. So For Love of Dog, Homeward Animal Shelter. She did all of this on her own. Yeah, she had some help contacting people from teachers and other adults, but the idea was all her. Just like with Joanna Lynn, she's a senior here this year, and it's really cool. She loves music, and she saw that rural students in North Dakota don't have the same access to materials, resources, and music education that we do in bigger cities. So she created a nonprofit where they travel to rural schools, give them the materials they need to actually have a music education that they wouldn't otherwise get. This picture is kind of old. It's from Fill the Dome in 2017. These are thousands of local students and teachers working together to combat hunger in the FM area. And a lot of you have already done this. Like this year, I know a few of you from class have done Fill the Dome, which is really cool. And then this one, it is much older. It's from 2012. This is Manish Apte. He was a senior at the time at Davies, and he raised $10,000 through efforts and kind of creating this golf tournament to further research cures into muscular dystrophy. He worked with his DECA teacher, he worked with teachers here, he worked with other adults in his life, and it was, again, all his idea. So it's not just something you see in history books that you read in English and social studies. It's not just something you read about in the news. You all have the power to do something really great here at the local level, and who knows what it's going to turn into. In fact, a lot of you have already started doing really cool things. And I just hope that this project helps you further those causes, or if you haven't started, maybe gets you starting to think about those causes in a different way. So again, kind of revisiting that idea of what issue ignites you, what issue ignites your voice, what do you want to speak out about? Think about that still as I go through these last few slides. Your MoDI project is focusing on three things. The first, you're going to select a specific issue you're passionate about. Could be anything ranging from Texas Instruments needs to not have a stranglehold on calculator purchases, or it could go all the way up to we need to enact climate change reform. It doesn't matter what the topic is, just find something you care about. If you have questions or need help thinking, feel free to email me. I'm here to help. The second thing you're going to do is conduct research, because you can be really loud and I have an opinion, but if you don't actually know what you're talking about, people aren't going to listen. They're going to listen, however, if you do the work and the due diligence to really understand what's going on. And then finally, you need to share that information somehow. So what you're going to do is create an infographic. It's kind of like a visual essay in poster format, which I have examples of and I will show you next week. But you're going to use that information to create an infographic. And some of you might consider submitting it into an infographic competition that's coming up later this year. The skills you're going to use in this project, the first one is evaluating the credibility of sources. You don't want to use a trash website that gives you false information. You want to know which websites have a bias, which websites don't, and which websites are going to give you good facts versus not so good facts. And besides, most of you after high school aren't going to use databases. You're going to find your information from online websites. So you need to know how to evaluate what's good and what's not so good. The next skill you'll use is selecting key info from research. You're not going to use every single bit of information you find. That's just not realistic. So you need to know how to figure out what's important and what's not important. Generating MLA citations, we're going to learn about that a little bit more, especially on Friday and Wednesday of next week, because it's important to give credit where credit is due. Other people put in work, so they deserve to be recognized for that. You do work, you don't want other people to steal it and say, hey, this is mine. So we need to learn how to credit others when they deserve it. You're also going to focus on effectively communicating in a written format. With discussions, you focused on a verbal format. This time you're going to be writing it. And then finally at the bottom, use technology responsibly. Most of you will be able to do that. And if you don't, I don't know, we'll just take your PLD and make you work in the library or something. I'm already on the one. So what you're going to do for today, February 13th, is select your topic and complete part 1 of your MoDI project organizer on Google Classroom. And I'll jump into Google Classroom really quick and kind of show you what that looks like. Just ignore this. So this is from period 1's Google Classroom. Each of you has your own document titled the MoDI Modern Day Issue Project 2020. You're going to click in it and it should bring you there we go. It should bring you to a document like this. All you have to do for today is select your topic and justify why you've chosen it. You might also add a little blurb about what the topic is, because for all I know, there might be a topic you chose that I might not know a lot about it. And as someone who needs to be informed, it's up to you to kind of inform me. So what you'll do right here is you'll write a detailed paragraph about your topic. And these are some questions you might consider writing your paragraph. What issue did you select and why did you choose it? Try to summarize what you know about the issue before you start your research. What makes this issue important to you and others? Why should some random person on the street care about it? And so I'll kind of start typing something right here. Let's see. I chose the topic of pancreatic cancer. I'll get to that later. I chose the topic of pancreatic cancer to research. Typo. To research. Pancreatic cancer affects the pancreas by altering healthy cells into cancerous cells and is most commonly found in older individuals. The reason why I chose this topic is because my grandma on my mom's side, Grandma Lee, passed away when I was younger due to pancreatic cancer. My hope is that through research and advocacy, we can eventually find a cure for this type of cancer. Maybe, there we go, of cancer and other cancer. So that's just a start. Most of you will probably finish your paragraph in 5-10 minutes. The hardest part is really thinking about what topic you want to do. But for tomorrow, Friday, I would like you to have this paragraph chosen before class because you're going to be watching a video on research and trying to find a source that works for you. Now, here's the thing. Oops. Since it's in Google Classroom, I can see what work you're doing, what work you're creating, and how far you get. At a quick glance, I can see how much you've typed, if you've typed at all. So please just use this class time productively. If you go on your phone, if you work on other homework after your English is done, I'm fine with that. Do it. But just be smart. Get your English done right away, and then you can do other things afterward. Now, you shouldn't be throwing things around or anything. Don't do that. Don't light my classroom on fire. But you will have time to work afterward on other things if you just hunker down and get this MoDI project part 1 finished. So like I said, for today, you're just going to start on part 1. You can start trying to find sites that you want to use, but you don't have to start that part until tomorrow. So again, part 1, get it finished. Get it finished for Friday. The other thing, on Friday, you guys have choice silent reading. So make sure you bring a silent reading book. If you don't have a book to read, you can use one of my many books from the classroom. But the only thing you can't read is a children's book. Anything else is on the table. Have a magazine? Bring a magazine. Want to read the school newspaper? Awesome, I have some in the room. Graphic novels, comic books, scripts, plays, poetry books, anything you can think of. Just grab something you want to read and you'll read it for 20 minutes, okay? If you have any questions, please contact me and let me know. I'll try my best to respond as soon as I can. And like I said, this topic should be something you care about. I'm excited to see you all when I get back on Wednesday. Just remember, you don't have school on Monday or Tuesday. And that's pretty much it. If you have questions, contact me. Please like and subscribe and ring that bell for further notifications.